Good day, children. Hope you all are fine. Today, let us go on with Unit 7 Supplementary, a dilemma written by Silas Wire Michael. Dilemma, what do you mean by it, children? See, you might be familiar with this word. Dilemma in the sense where you are not sure know what decision to take. You are under confusion, either this or that, either to do or not to do. That is dilemma, where you are not sure. Okay, now coming to the lesson. It's a different lesson, children. For sure you will like the lesson if you concentrate. Okay, now let us go on to the lesson. I was just 37 when my uncle Philip died. A week before that, even he sent for me, and here let me say that I had never set eyes on him. He hated my mother, but I do not know why. Okay, here, Michael, he says he was 37 years when his uncle Philip died. And before his uncle could die, children, 1 week before, he has sent for me, he has sent word to Michael. That means he has sent word to someone else asking Michael to come and meet him. That's the meaning. And here, Michael, he has not seen his uncle, he has not met his uncle. And why in the sense, Michael uncle, he hates his mother. There is no reason for what purpose he hates Michael's mother. Why does his uncle hates him? There is no reason for that. No, he has not declared that reason. She told me long before his last illness that I need expect nothing from my father's brother. He was an inventor and an able and ingenious. What do you mean by ingenious? Ingenious in the sense a very clever person. Okay, ingenious mechanical engineer, and had much money by his improvement in turbine wheels. Michael mother, no children, before Michael mother passed away, Michael mother, she has said Michael, telling him not to look after for any help towards his uncle. Uncle in the sense Michael's father brother. Okay, and she said Michael not to expect anything from his uncle. And moreover, this Michael uncle, he is a very clever engineer and really a wealthy person also. So she asked Michael not to look forward for any help from his uncle. He was a bachelor, lived alone, cooked his own meals, and collected precious stones, especially rubies and pearls. For the time he made his first money, he had this mania. What do you mean by mania? Mania in the sense desire. Okay. Now Michael uncle, he is an engineer. Moreover, he is a bachelor. He has much money. He is really a wealthy person. But he lives a bachelor life. He cooks his food. He cooks himself. He does all his work. He does it by himself. And his only work is to collect precious stones. Especially, children, he collects rubies and pearls. From time to time, he collected many precious stones, and he really became rich. As he grew rich, the desire to possess rare and costly gems became stronger. When he bought a new stone, he carried it in his pocket for a month, and now and then took it out and looked at it. His uncle, Michael uncle, he started collecting many stones, and his desire grew more and more. Whenever he bought new stones, any precious stone, when he buy, he carries that stone in his pocket for a month or two. He carries that stone in his pocket, and very now then and very often, he takes that stone. He just he sees the stone. He look at the stone, and then he keep it in his pocket. Then it was added to the collection in his safe and the trust company. So for a month he keeps the stone in his pocket. Then no, whenever he feels like seeing the stone, no, he sees the stone, then he plays in his pocket. See, his uncle, his Michael's uncle, okay, his Arthur's uncle, he is the one who collected the precious stones. See, he keeps this precious stone in his pocket. When he feels like seeing that stone, no, he takes out from his pocket. After a month, no, again he places this precious stone in his locker, that is in his safe. He has one small safe, one small jewel box, like, no, he has it. He keeps it in that box, and then he start collecting for other stone. Okay. At the time he sent for me, I was a clerk and poor enough. Remembering my mother's word, his message gave me, his sole relative, no new hopes, but I thought it best to go. When he received his message, no children, once Michael, no, he received message from his uncle. At that time, a clerk. At that time, Michael, no, he was poor enough. No, he was a clerk. When he got the message from his uncle saying, asking him to come and meet him, no, he remembered his mother's word. His mother asked him, no, not to look after any help from his uncle. He had that thought. When I sat down by his bedside, he began with a malicious grin. But even then, no, whatever mother said, even then, no, he really felt sad for his uncle, and he went to meet his uncle. He went to his uncle, he sat beside his uncle. His uncle was sick. That is why his uncle called him. And other relatives all know, they didn't bother to come and see him. But Michael... okay. No, being Michael being his higher, no, I mean very close relation, being his close relation, his brother's son. No, he thought, okay, let me go. He went to his uncle's house, sat beside his bed with a malicious grin. What do you mean by malicious? Intended to harm or upset someone. Okay, it was, he thought in that state. I suppose you think me queer. I will explain. What he said was certainly queer enough. I have been living on an annuity into which I put my fortune. In other words, I have been as to money concentric half of my life to enable me to be as eccentric as I please the rest of it. Now I repented of my wickedness to you all and desire to live in the memory of at least one of my family. You think I am poor and have only my annuity. You will be probably surprised. I have never parted with my precious stones. They will be yours. You are my sole hire. I have carried with me to the other world the satisfaction of making one man happy. Okay. No, uncle, he called Michael, and he said, no, you might be queer in the sense, you might be strange. No, looking me after this many years, you might be strange. But anyways, he said, I'll explain you. My half of my life, no, I was pleased in collecting precious stone. And no, I'm really happy that I'm leaving this, my entire... no, I'm leaving my property to one of my hire, my sole hire, no? Legally who can hire your property. Any person, no, children, if he's about to die, he can leave his property to his sole hire. That is, if he has no son or daughter, any close relation, whoever it's, no, he can leave his property to him. And he says, Michael uncle, he says, see, I'm happy, though I'm dying, no, I'm happy that I'm able to make one of my family member rich. At least I'm making him happy. Who is making him happy? Uncle says that I'm making, no, I really feel satisfaction thinking that I'm making you happy. How is he making him happy? By making him rich, no? Obviously, Michael will be happy. That's what Uncle Philip says. No doubt you have always had expectations, and I desire that you should continue to expect. My jewels are in my safe. There is nothing else left. No, uncle says, see, you might have expectation. Uncle is so rich. Obviously, he might have some. He might give me some jewels or money, something. No, sure, you might have that expectation. Anyways, I have left all my jewels, no, in a safe. Only I have no other property. Only it is my jewels. I have left only jewels. He means to say jewels in the sense is precious stones. When I thanked him, he grinned all over his lean face and said, "You will have to pay for my funeral." Now, Michael, listening to this, no, Michael said, "Thank you, uncle." When he said, no, his uncle, he said, "Okay, anyways, you will pay for my funeral." He said, "Pay for my funeral in the sense?" His uncle said, after he dies, he will do all the rituals, all that death ceremonies, no children. Uncle asked Philip to do it. Okay. I must say that I never looked afterwards to any expenditure with more pleasure than to what it cost me to put him away in the earth. As I rose to go, he said, the moment he said, "You must pay for my funeral," he was really upset because he has no money. Michael has no money. So he rose from his sitting place where he was seated. He got up from there. "The rubies are valuable. They are in my safe at the trust company. Before you unlock the box, be very careful to read a letter which lies on top of it, and be sure not to shake the box. I thought this odd. Don't come back. I won't hasten things." Okay. When he was about to leave, uncle, he said, Philip uncle said, "See, the box contains of rubies, valuable rubies, and this box is in my trust company. It's in the safe. The safe is in the trust company. And before you could open the box, there is a letter upon the box. Read the letter carefully. Before open the box, you read the letter carefully. Then you try to open it." Then Philip, this is what Philip said to Michael. No, Michael, he thought, he didn't thought of that much serious what the letter might be. He didn't had that idea. He died that day next week and was handsomely buried the day after his will was found, leaving me his hire. I opened his safe and found it in nothing but an iron box, evidently of his own making. Of he was a skilled workman and very igneous. The box was heavy and strong, about 10 inches long, 8 inches wide, and 10 inches high. Now, after his death, after some days, Uncle Philip, he passed away, and Michael, he went on with all the rituals, the burying ceremony. He did all the burying ceremony, and after everything over, he found his will. The day after, he found his will, and he went to the trust company. He found the box. He took the box from the safe. He found the box. The moment he saw the box, he found out his uncle is an engineer. Already I told you he is a good maker also. So he made this box of himself. It's a very heavy and strong box. It is. The box is of 10 inches long, 8 inches wide, and 10 inches in height. Look at the box, children, how beautifully it is made. A very strong box. See how nice with designs on it. You can see the box is a very solid box. It is an iron box, children. Okay, it's not an ordinary box. It is an iron box. A very strong and heavy box it is. Okay, see, you could see the box. Okay. I stood appalled. The key in my hand was true. Was it a lie? I had spent all my savings on the funeral and was poorer than after. I spent applaud in the sense shocked. Now here Michael, no, he was shocked. He had the keys in his hand and he was thinking, is this keys? Is it true? Or it is a false key? What is it? Now he has no money with him also. The money what he had, he spent entire amount in funeral of Uncle Philip. And moreover, no, he was already poor. Now he has become still more poor. Who? Michael. He has become poorer now. Remembering the old man's oddity, his malice, his cleverness in mechanic arts, and the patent explosive which has helped to make him rich, I began to feel how very likely it was that he had told the truth in the cruel letter. Okay. Children, see, he has written a letter. Okay, after reading the letter, no, now he remembers, that is Michael, he remembers oddity in the sense, the quality of being strange. He has written something, some strange message in the letter. And he thought how cruelly uncle has written this letter. We shall see what has written in the letter, children. After this line, no, we shall see. I carried the iron box away to my lodgings, set it down with care in a closet, laid the key on it and locked the closet. Now he had the box in his hand, he has the key, but he is unable to open the box. Why he is not able to open? There is something written in the letter, something strange is written in the letter. What it is written in the letter will see. See, on top of the box, no, there lays a letter. On it lay a letter to me. It ran thus. See, this is what Uncle Philip has written in the letter. Dear Tom, this box contains a large number of very thin pigeon blood, rubies and a fair lot of diamonds. One is blue, a beauty. There are hundreds of pearls, one the famous green pearl and a necklace of blue pearls for which any woman would sell her soul or her affection. Okay, see, uncle has written what all is there in the box. In a box, no, there is rubies and diamonds and no, one blue diamond is there, it seems, and hundreds of pearls is there in the box. And one green pearl necklace is there. No, every costly precious stone is there in the box. He says this beautiful necklace, no, where any woman sees a necklace, no, she will really like to wear the necklace. I thought of Susan. I wish you to continue to have expectations and continuously to remember your dear uncle. I would have left these stones to some charity, but I hate the poor as much as I hate your mother's son. Yes, rather more. No, he says, see, Tom, before I could give these precious stones to you, I thought of handovering this box to the charity. But I really hate poor people. No, I hate poor as much I hate your mother's son. Hate your mother's son. Now, to whom is he saying? He is saying to the narrator. He is saying to... Okay, he is saying to him. Okay, he is saying to the narrator. The box contains interesting mechanism which will act with certainty as you unlock it and explode 10 ounces of my improved supersensitive dynamite. Now, the box contains an interesting mechanism. See, he says, you can open the box, but when you open the box, no, you must be careful because the box contains precious stones. Apart from that, it contains interesting mechanism, see, which will act with certainly as you unlock it and explode 10 ounces of my improved supersensitive dynamite. See, he has kept dynamite inside the box. To be accurate, they are only 9.5 ounces. Doubt me and open it. and you will be blown to atoms. He says, if you open the box in a doubt, no, either to open or not to open, if you open the box just like that, you will be blown to atoms. Atoms in the sense very small particles. Okay. Believe me, and you will continue to nourish expectations which will never be fulfilled. As a considerate man, I counsel extreme care in handling the box. Don't forget me, your affectionate uncle. Okay. So uncle has said, if you doubt me and open now, for sure you will be blown to an atom. But anyways, he says, I am alerting you. Be alert when you open the box. There is a dynamite inside the box. So be careful in handling the box. Don't forget me, yours affectionate uncle. He has written the letter. What a nice uncle he is, no children? Now, when anyone who come across this letter, you think he will open the box, children? Will anyone open the box happily? Will he open the box or will he not open the box? Obviously, he will not open the box, isn't it? Anyone will really anyone will scared to open the box. Just imagine, children, if you get the box like this, will you be happy to open the box? Surely you will not be happy to open the box, isn't it? That is what here the author, no, he is under dilemma, either to open the box or not to open the box. Yes, children, here we have completed part 1. We shall see in our next class. Part 2 we shall see in our next class. Okay.